The stuff that Umar Johnson says is completely nonsensical, and it only makes sense to immature black people or black people who have not been exposed to anything other than stupidity in the black community.
You being who you are, what do you say to black people, black mothers, black fathers who have black children?
Well, the first thing I'm gonna say is if you're raising a black boy, you need to be very careful about the school district you send them to. When you are a black male, you are not given the benefit of a childhood.
Go to TatumStore.com, 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 go get you some merch. We got some 250 merch too. Y'all go there, check it out. And this is in honor of the baseball players and everybody that want to stand up for what's right biblically. And that we did these two hats. Shout out to John Root, because the black hat is the one he came up with. So if you support that and you when you want to go get one of those Genesis hats, just put Root in and you'll get 15% off. That's just the Genesis hat. Me and him partnered on that one. So put Root in, that'll give him credit for the hat. He came up with the hat, and it's a killer hat. I'm gonna send these to some baseball players. But if you want to get it, it's on the store right now, ready and available. If you don't know what Romans 1:27 is, if they put Romans 1:27 on that hat, then people would be crying in the middle of the street. But if you don't know what it is, go look it up. All right, let's go to Umar Johnson, who there was a gentleman that he's on the Gentleman Show, and he said, hey, man, I would love to get you and Umar Johnson together. I will debate Umar Johnson any day of the week. The stuff that Umar Johnson says is completely nonsensical, and it only makes sense to immature black people or black people who have not been exposed to anything other than stupidity in the black community. I'm being honest. I would listen to Umar Johnson when I was in college, and I would have been like, dang, this dashiki dude is deep, bro. He care about the people, bro. He's standing up for ours, bro. That's back when my brain wasn't working right and I wasn't saved and I wasn't mature. The frontal lobe of my brain didn't develop yet. And now that I'm, an adult and I know how to do research myself, this is the dumbest guy on planet Earth. Roll the clip.
I'm gonna tell you a big problem monogamy creates for professional, successful black men. You know what it is? I might be in love with you, but I'm like, damn, she nice too. So when y'all say you got to dwindle it down to one, you know what ends up happening? Time starts getting wasted because we cannot decide just one. When a man got two women who've been rocking with him and holding him down and both of them expecting to cut the other one off, you know what he gonna do? He not gonna choose. Keep them both. Neither one of y'all get married. That's the problem in the black community. Whereas if y'all said you can choose two, that's better now. I got you, and you help me choose the other one.
So,
time out. That fool said, he said, y'all let us choose two? That's better for us. How about you help me choose the other one? What dashiki black Hebrew Israelite Muhammad is he talking about, bruh? What makes you think? No black person that I know that's heavily successful is trying to have two women. There is no human being that is a man with common sense that thinks that the best decision for his life as a high net worth person is to deal with two women. One woman is enough. You got to do two women. Hey, when you get divorced, because in many of these cases, there's such thing as common law marriage. When you is committed to two women and you got kids with these women and y'all break up, you're going to be paying child support and alimony and all this to two different women now. Ain't no black man that got sense want two women. They may want to screw two women, but a man with common sense knows that that's not the right thing to do. You might want to in your mind, but in reality, how does that benefit you in your life? How does that benefit your business? How does that benefit you as a father? How does that benefit you, your reputation with people? You know you can't love two women, really? It's hard to love one. Come on, he says stupider stuff than this. Roll it.
but your two women, is it just, they just focus on you? Are you letting them scissor and bump get involved in what's
no
going on?
bumping. This is no carpet, right?
Okay.
They are my wives.
Okay.
But they will work together in everything else.
Okay, so no extraness. I just want to know. Because a lot of times that does happen.
I know.
That does
And
happen.
a lot of times the men want it to happen.
Yeah.
You follow what I'm saying?
A lot of men want to, and a lot of men don't want it. And a lot
don't
of
want
women
it.
sneak and do it.
That's true.
A lot of women sneak and do
very
it
true.
because they're being
All right,
themselves
there's more.
and everybody
You just
being
know that
honest.
this devolved into stupidity even deeper. He got more. There's more. Look at what he said about Chow. Rick Chow. Listen to this fool. Roll the clip.
Cyrus goes into the store. They thought he stole some water. He didn't steal no water. He leaves the store. Andy Chow Che Ming, the son, he decides to walk out. Then the daddy and the mom follow suit. The camera doesn't show us everything, right? So we don't have footage in either one of these cases that we can really see, allegedly. They allege that a 61-year-old Chinese man from Hong Kong chased a 15-year-old black boy 110 yards long. Do you really think a 61-year-old man can chase a black teenager 110 yards?
Clearly he did because he shot him. He shot him. There's witnesses. He shot him. So what do you think happened, Umar? The aliens picked him up in a spaceship and flew him over there. And you see on the surveillance, he's running behind his son. Just because they're not in a cardiac situation like most of you black people are, obese and diabetes, and you can't run at 60 years old, don't mean the Chinese man ain't doing it. They eating rice and stuff every day. They lean. That man been chasing y'all Negroes across the street for 20 years now. So he got good shape. Quit lying to yourself, man. That man shot him. He said he shot him, admitted he shot his son and have a gun. The witnesses saw it. Umar, what you talking about? Roll the clip.
Yards and catch up to him?
They saying anything at this point.
I believe Andy Chow, the son, was Brother Cyrus Carmack Belton's killer. And I believe the father simply decided to take the rap for his son.
Wow.
And I believe Cyrus was shot, not because he pointed a gun at Andy, but because they couldn't catch him. They could not be outsmarted by the little black boy, so they decided to take his life. Remember, according to the pathologist, Cyrus was in a runner's position when he was shot in the back. Loon, how am I posing any threat at all to your safety or that of your son when I'm fleeing away from y'all? My back is to y'all. You shoot me in the back and I'm in a runner's position and I'm going to make it even worse.
Come on, Umar. What you got, brother?
Alice Chow, the wife,
Yes.
guess what she does?
What?
She compromises the crime scene. She picks up both of Cyrus's cell phones and his shoes and takes them back to the gas station. Loon, if this boy pulled out a gun on your son, okay? First of all, if he pulled out the gun, he would have never dropped it. Loon, he got on the hoodie. The gun would go back into the hoodie.
Right.
You follow me? If he ever had that gun in his hand, pointed at one of them, it would have been in
So
his
was he
hoodie.
found with a gun? Did they try to act like he had a gun?
They said a gun fell out of his person while he was running.
Wow.
I'm not even convinced the gun was his. I'm not convinced the gun was not planted. Do you feel me? I'm not convinced of that.
Somebody, anybody, check on Umar. Homeboy doing shrooms or something. What? Let me clarify the stuff he's saying because he's stupid. He didn't watch anything. He didn't listen to anything in the trial. He didn't listen to the attorney for Chow. The kid was showing guns online before this. The gun that he had, he's showing guns online, doing gang signs and doing all that stuff. The kid was 14. He runs. They chase him. He turns and pulls the gun. He did not get shot in the back. He got shot from a flank angle. The bullet went through across. So that means it matches when they said he turned and pointed the gun at them, it matches the bullet going through and through at a cross in a cross angle. That's why Chow is not in prison right now. See, you ignorant folk make up stuff that ain't true. And then you wonder why people get off. They got off because you lied. He got shot in an angle. They proved it in the court of law. He wasn't in his back. It was consistent with him turning and pointing the gun and it going through his hip and out his side like this. He had a gun on his person. His DNA was on the gun. All of these things And the witnesses saw the gun. The witnesses saw the gun next to his person. Chow shot him. Chow had the gun in his hand. You know, let me explain this. This is why these people are stupid. It would have been better if his son would have been the shooter. It was a chance that Chow could have went to prison because now you have yourself defending another person. It's easier if you articulate, I was defending myself and no other people witnessed what happened. Because when you're down to the situation where you put your son involved, now you got two stories to tell. You got two stories to tell, and you got one person saying that they felt threatened and the other person shooting them. That's not clean. That's a difficult articulation to make. But if it's just one, you say, he tried to shoot me, I shot and killed him. Dad don't have to testify because he wasn't there. Son don't have to say he was defending anybody else. He was defending his life directly because it was a threat of serious bodily injury or death. The more people you have, the harder it is to testify. The other person that can deny what the son said, if that was the scenario, is dead. So therefore, you got a case where there's no witnesses. No witnesses of the actual shooting. So his dad wouldn't run into the situation and then say, oh, I'm going to add myself in this and make it more complicated so I could end up going to prison when my son wouldn't go to prison at all. Okay. Last clip from Dr. Umar Johnson.
You being who you are, what do you say to black people, black mothers, black fathers who have black children?
Well, the first thing I'm going to say is if you're raising a black boy, you need to be very careful about the school district you send him to. And you need to be very careful about the county you living in. Because as you know, Loon, when we make a little bit of money, the first thing we do is what? Black flight to the white suburb. Black flight to the white suburb. And then what we say is, well, my son is an athlete. He's not going to have a hard time. Karmelo Anthony was captain of the football team, and I think he was captain of the track or the basketball team. But guess what? Look at the situation that he found himself in. And did him being a captain of his sports teams matter? Loon, did you see his football team stand up for him? No. Did you see his basketball team stand up for him? No. Did you see his track team stand up for him? No. So you moving out into a white suburb with your black athlete son, thinking him being an athlete is enough to save him? It's not. This does not mean Karmelo's mother and father were at fault for where they lived. I want to be clear. I'm simply saying going forward, Loon, if you're raising a black boy, you need to be very careful as to where you raise them and the school you send them to, because what did I tell you before? In the previous conversation we had, when you are a black male, you are not given the benefit of a childhood.
You know how crazy this is that he's saying this? This is not the experience of most people in America, most black people specifically. I grew up in Texas. I grew up in Fort Worth. I went to Crowley High School, and then we went to Dunbar High School, which is right in the hood, all black. And we only went there not because we had to or we want to live around a bunch of black people. We went there because the sports was good and it was an opportunity for us to have a scholarship, which we both did. Me and my brother both were U.S. Army All-Americans, and we were top players in the nation coming out both years and had scholarships to almost every university you could think of. And so it was a football decision that we went to the hood and played football there. But when we lived at North Crowley, went to North Crowley High School, it was great. It was a whole bunch of black people who went to North Crowley. And we were all middle class. Nobody thugging and banging and doing all that stupid stuff. Nobody was doing that. We playing basketball at my friend Brandon Gardner's house all night long until the lights come on. And we ride our bike through the safe white neighborhood at night. We ain't got to worry about nobody drive-bying, nobody doing none of that stuff. This is what happens. Like Umar Johnson just revealed himself is that when black people make money, they move away from the inner city community. Because it's not safe, there's not opportunities there. It's the same thing when they call white flight. Black people come into these communities, they destroy the community, and white people are getting out of there, and black people. It ain't just white people. But they don't call it nothing when black people leave. They only call it white flight when white people leave so they can play the victim. As my father got more successful, my mama got more successful, we moved to better neighborhoods. It's not the neighborhood's fault that white people are in these neighborhoods. We're just moving to a better neighborhood. And unfortunately, the better the neighborhood, the more white people is in the neighborhood. It ain't their fault. Why is it their fault that they want the neighborhood clean and they doing all this, and then black people want to move in their neighborhood that want to be successful? And I'm not saying every black person, every black neighborhood is bad. I'm just saying there's a very big difference between living in Stop 6 and living in Crowley. back in the day, and when Crowley was not saturated with crap. Living in Stop Six, living in Eastwood, living out Miller and Berry is not the same as living in Crowley. I just want that to be very clear. I did not hear gunshots almost every night when we lived in Crowley. There was no gang banging. No, you couldn't walk down this street or that street. People flying down the street. My grandma's house, because we stayed with my grandma for a year or so to get into school, and she lived in Eastwood. Black people going 100 mile per hour down Grandma Street. That you can't even, if you got a car on this side, a car on this side, you can't really do two cars in the same street. They going 60 miles per hour down the street. Kids playing on the street and everything. They don't care.